G'day guys, Dan back here again to continue plugging away at our weapons, our attacks, and obviously combat is a really important part of a lot of role-playing games, so it's not surprising that it can be complicated. So anyway, what we've got in our character sheet is a field that shows trained or untrained. Now, we can't make this a property strictly of the item because this is the character is trained or untrained in this field, and I debated setting this up as something that would pass your weapon proficiencies and then do it, but as discussed earlier, then that wouldn't work for when instead of dragging in a revolver, somebody dragged in a 357 Magnum, or if instead of dragging in a semi-automatic pistol, they dragged in a Glock. So what I decided to do is just to make it a field that the character can change on the character sheet, and I need them to be able to edit themselves, but also just to I don't know, keep everyone honest. I want it when the character changes a weapon status, I want it sent to chat, and let's see what we get there. So what I've got is this field here. Hover it over it. This is my trained field, and currently all three guns are untrained because we have no way to set them as trained or not, or two guns and a sword are all set as untrained at the moment with the U there. So what we're going to do is be able to double click on this field and make it trained. The very first thing that we need to do is Core RPG had a change fairly recently that made a lot of elements not respect a double click. So double click would just only do a single click, and that was due to some inconsistencies or throughout a rule set in terms of single and double clicks. And sadly for me, and sadly maybe for you, is that I prefer the double click action because I think it's a more deliberate action. Anyway, it is what it is. My games tend to have double clicks, or my newer games do. So to allow this object to have double clicks, we need to actually write allow double click. So property name in here, it's a custom property. Property name is allow double click. That's all we do. Put that in there, and we've now got this allow double click property. And then we've got to write some code. So what happens when we double click? So the first thing we're going to do is, of course, do a non-double click. Then we want to find out some info about it. So we want to do local node weapon. We want to do local node car, which is our actor. Now get parent is the object database node directly above the current one. So when we do window.get database node on this item here, we're finding the weapon entry, and the weapon is an entry on a list, and the list is on the character sheet, and node car is the character sheet. So we have to go up 2 levels up the weapon and up the list to get to the character sheet. So that's our node car. Next we want to do we want to get the name of the character. So we're obviously going to use node car. Okay, and when we want to get the weapon name, it's almost identical. So S weapon, and instead of node car, we're going to do node weapon, right? But the value is still name. So that should get us our character's name and our weapon name. We now have to set up a message. So we're just going to create a message array, I guess it's called. It's got multiple bits of information in it, and there's some core RPG codes in here. Create base message, and we're going to do something like node car and nil. Chat manager create base message, that looks good. And now we're going to do our little trick that I do to set the icon in the message chat to the player's token if we're running, if it's actually a character sheet, and otherwise it'll use the GM's token. So I'm not going to type that one out, I'm just copy and pasting that from elsewhere, and you've seen me use that many times before if this isn't your first video, of course. Now what we want to do is we want to check the current state of trained or untrained on the object that we're clicking on. So we've got a field in there called trained. So if that field is equal to 0, e.g. it's untrained, then we want to change its value. So instead of get value, we're going to do set value, and we're going to set this value to 1. And we're also going to create a message. Now, the reason we include the message text in there itself is that there's some info in there, such as the actor's name and stuff like that. So, message text, and then our actual message is s_name, that's the actor. Append a space, so it doesn't run straight into s_name. Has set is weapon, as trained. That should probably do it. And we want to then do an else if statement. That was nasty. Else if node weapon get trained get value is equal to 1. We want to change it to 0, and we want to say that the user has set his weapon as untrained. And that's the end of the if-else statement. Then we need to we want to deliver the message, and we want to deliver it to everyone, so we don't need the recipients in there. We just want message, which is our array, and that's should be it, really. I'll double click, blah 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 blah. Let's run that through. Okay, let's push this and see what happens. My table's reloading. Let's have a look at our character sheet. So we've got Christoph, and he's got a revolver which is untrained. I'm going to double click on it. Oh, we've got an error. Attempt to concatenate field text. Okay, typo. That should probably be TEXT, not text. Let's go fix that one up. It's on line 21. Line 21, which is actually, the error is reporting 21, but as is often the case, it's actually the line before. So message.text. Anywhere else, we've got it again down here. Text. Alright. Push that out again. Reloading the table. Close the debugger. Alright, it already set that one to trained before the error failed. Let's untrain it. Nice. Christoph has set revolver as untrained. And Christoph has set submachine gun as trained. Has set sword as trained. Sword is untrained. And revolver is trained. Perfect. Let's wrap that video. Okay, we'll come back again very soon and keep working on these weapons.